I once believed I just needed the right strategy, until simple, heart-opening questions led me to real transformation. Like, what am I avoiding? Or what truly makes me proud? These aren't surface-level prompts. They're keys to deeper clarity, emotional resilience, and authentic growth. Over time, they helped me align my actions with my values, shed limiting beliefs, and replace autopilot with purpose. Today, I'm excited to share the most powerful self-reflection questions that reshaped my life, and can reshape yours too. Today, we will talk about self-reflection questions that changed my life. So before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Self-reflection is one of the most underrated tools for personal growth. Most people live on autopilot, repeating patterns, chasing goals they don't question, and living with unresolved emotions. I used to be one of them, until I discovered the power of asking myself deep, uncomfortable questions. These self-reflection questions didn't just give me clarity. They transformed the way I see myself, my relationships, my work, and even my purpose. In this article, I want to share the most powerful self-reflection questions that genuinely changed my life. I'll break down what each question unlocked for me and how you can use them to navigate your own life with greater awareness. 1. What am I pretending not to know? This question shook me the first time I encountered it. It forced me to confront uncomfortable truths that I had been avoiding. Often, we live in denial because it's easier to ignore problems than face them. I realized I was pretending not to know that I was unhappy in certain relationships, that I wasn't passionate about my career at the time, and that I was making excuses for staying stagnant. This question cuts through the noise of self-deception and pushes you to face the reality you've been avoiding. I started to apply it whenever I felt stuck or restless. It's astonishing how much energy we waste lying to ourselves. The moment I stopped pretending, I could finally take action to change what wasn't working. This question became the first step to living with brutal honesty and integrity. 2. If I continue living this way, where will I be in 5 years? Many of us think in short-term loops. We focus on surviving the week, meeting deadlines, or simply getting through the day. I never thought much about the long-term trajectory of my daily habits until I asked myself this question. It was a wake-up call. When I visualized the path I was on, neglecting my health, postponing dreams, staying in comfort zones, I realized I was heading toward regret. This question forced me to project my life forward and see the consequences of my choices. I began to reshape my habits, prioritize my health, and start the passion projects I had shelved. It taught me that the small things we do every day compound, for better or worse. This question can either terrify you or inspire you, depending on whether you like the direction you're heading. 3. What would I do if I weren't afraid? Fear is one of the biggest barriers to growth. It disguises itself in many forms: procrastination, perfectionism, self-doubt, and overthinking. I used to think I was just not ready for certain things, starting a business, having difficult conversations, or making bold moves. But when I asked myself this question, I had to admit that fear was the real obstacle. What would I do if I weren't afraid? I would take risks. I would chase the opportunities that excited me. I would stop playing small. This question helped me distinguish between genuine caution and self-imposed limitations. Once I saw how much fear was dictating my life, I committed to stepping into discomfort regularly. I still feel fear, but now I don't let it make my decisions for me. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's choosing to act despite it. 4. What does success look like to me? Not to society, not to my family, but to me. For a long time, I was chasing someone else's definition of success. Good job, higher income, social approval. It's easy to get caught in this trap because society loudly broadcasts what we should want. But when I slowed down and asked myself what success genuinely meant to me, the answers were surprising. I realized I valued freedom over status, meaningful work over money, deep connections over popularity. This question prompted me to question the goals I had been blindly pursuing. It forced me to redesign my vision of life on my terms. We often assume we know what we want, but until we consciously define success for ourselves, we risk living for other people's validation. 5. What am I avoiding by staying busy? Our culture glorifies business as a badge of honor. I used to pack my schedule with tasks, social events, and constant noise. But deep down, I was using business as a shield to avoid facing deeper issues: loneliness, unresolved emotions, fear of failure. When I confronted this question, it exposed that my relentless activity was actually a form of escapism. I had to sit with my discomfort instead of running from it. It was during those quiet moments, away from the hustle, that I began to process old wounds and hear what my intuition was trying to tell me. Business can be a very socially acceptable distraction, but it keeps us disconnected from ourselves. This question taught me the value of slowing down, creating stillness, and doing the inner work that truly matters. 6. What is the cost of not changing? Change is uncomfortable. It often feels safer to maintain the status quo, even when we know it's not serving us. But this question reframes the conversation. Instead of focusing on the pain of change, it asks you to confront the pain of not changing. What is the real cost of staying the same? For me, the cost was emotional stagnation, missed opportunities, declining health, and future regret. This question helped me weigh the trade-offs more clearly. Suddenly, the discomfort of change seemed far less scary compared to the long-term pain of inaction. It became easier to choose growth when I understood what was truly at stake. This mindset shift allowed me to make hard but necessary decisions, ending toxic relationships, leaving unfulfilling work, and taking leaps into the unknown. 7. Who am I when no one is watching? It's easy to behave well when others are observing. But who are you when you're alone, when there's no applause, no judgment, no audience? This question forced me to examine my private habits, my true motivations, and my sense of integrity. I realized that my real character was revealed in those quiet, unseen moments: how I treated myself, how I handled failure, how I stuck to my principles even when it was inconvenient. This question helped me align my public and private selves. It challenged me to cultivate discipline, kindness, and authenticity, even when there was no external reward. I started to notice the little things: how I spoke to myself, whether I kept promises I made to myself, and whether I did the right thing when nobody would ever know. This inner alignment built a sense of self-respect that no external achievement could ever provide. 8. If I died tomorrow, what would I regret? This is perhaps the most sobering question of all, and it has changed the way I prioritize my life. We all intellectually know that life is short, but we often live as if we're guaranteed decades. Asking myself this question regularly helps me cut through trivial worries and focus on what truly matters: spending time with loved ones, expressing gratitude, pursuing meaningful work, taking care of my body, and being present in my everyday moments. It also made me confront the things I was postponing: conversations I needed to have, risks I wanted to take, places I wanted to see. This question is a compass for living a life aligned with your deepest values. It's not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. Living with the awareness of life's fragility has made me more courageous, more compassionate, and more alive. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up. Leave a comment and click the button to subscribe.